Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about if the IB diploma is right for you, what kind of student would perform best in the IB diploma, and what it kind of entails if you're interested in it.
Yeah. Okay, so first things first, IB is not only just studying and just like 2 years worth of content. There's a lot of like extra stuff that like comes with it, like your IAs, your EEs, and your TOKs, and like CAS, and that really just like, I feel like for me personally, that's really what just made IB. Like the 2 years worth of content is just like the first thing, but then all of those extra things just really pile on, and that's what really gets you going insane. And since like most of those are essay based, if you are really strong with essay writing, then you would perform like incredibly well, because if you can write like an essay in 2 hours for your like first draft, then you're set. Like you won't have to do anything else above that. So yeah.
I think another important thing to note about the IB is it's not just a lot of essay writing in your extra work that you have to do, like your TOK essay and your EE. It's a lot of essay writing in assignments and stuff. So for example, we both take HL Psych and I take HL Global Politics, and it's a lot of writing. It's a lot of writing.
Guys, it is, and it's like, it's not even like a 1 hour's worth of writing. It's like for Psych at least, it's like paper 2 and paper 3 are back to back, and paper 2 is like 2 hours long for HL, and paper 3 is 1 hour long. One hour long.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot.
It's like 3 hours
writing.
worth of like straight writing. So if you're like really strong in writing, I think the IB diploma would be good
beneficial
for you.
Yeah.
Especially if like your strengths come out when you're writing, you know what to say when you're writing. But there's also like a skill that you develop while you're taking the IB. Like when we first started, we were really bad. Like if
Especially
I look back,
time management.
Exactly. I think if you look back on like my old psych assignments or like my tests, they were so bad. But it's definitely a skill that you develop. So if you're interested in the IB, even if you're not particularly strong in writing or you don't believe that you are, if you are interested in the IB, that is definitely something that you will develop.
And like when you are doing like your TOK and your EE, it's not only that, you're still continuously learning content in your classes. So you would have a test and your IA due the same week. Like you would have a test in, for example, chemistry, but you'll have like a math IA due that week. So it's like, it's really like preparing you for uni. And like all like fellow like 12th graders that have already graduated and are in uni now really talk about how IB is really like, has really helped them with their uni life, and like the people that didn't do IB in their uni are struggling. So especially for your first year, I think IB, like, it's a short-term sacrifice for like a long-term gain. So it's really good for you to learn new stuff.
I think when you're working on like multiple things at the same time as well, it's really difficult while you're doing it. Like senior year of IB is definitely like a push, but it's really rewarding. So I think if you're gonna take the IB, something to keep in mind is just like make sure you have good time management. And everyone says that, and everyone warns you like, if you're gonna take the IB, you have to have good time management. And honestly, I didn't really believe it.
Yeah, me neither.
And then this year I felt like I almost died. But
literally, like, actually.
But yeah, it really teaches you how to have good time management. So if you do believe you have good time management skills, if you want to improve on your time management skills, maybe the IB is right for you. But if you believe that's something that would be too much for you, working on several things at the same time, and they're all like pretty heavy on like the amount of time that it takes to do it, then maybe I wouldn't recommend the IB for you. Yeah.
And also, don't forget about how important junior year is. Like, I first thought, year 1 of IB, okay, I'm just learning stuff. No. Like, literally, I wish I, like, already embedded, like after school, I would study whatever I learned that day, because that would have helped me so much for exams, and I wouldn't have to relearn everything.
Yeah.
So I really think year 1, use your time wisely, and don't just, like, go, it's just year 1. It's not. It's, like, the heavy lifting, genuinely, of IB. Like, even though year 2, like, the first semester or whatever, it's all your IAs and EEs and TOK all handed in, it's still a lot, because you're still continuously learning content.
Yeah.
So just try to do everything in like year 1, and don't just ignore that.
Yeah.
It's year 1.
I think another thing to note is the IB final exams cover 2 years worth of content, which I think definitely makes it more difficult than like say AP courses or like regular courses. So that's another thing that you have to take into account when you're deciding to take the IB diploma. That's something that I didn't really think about. I just took the IB diploma and I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. But that's definitely something to think about if you think that you can like cover all of this stuff on the IB exams. I don't know. It's a lot of thinking to do, and it is a big decision to make, taking the IB diploma.
I also think it's important that you want to do IB, and it's not like someone else that's forcing you to do it, because if you're being forced to do it, then it's like you wouldn't want to do it, and it's a lot of motivation and discipline that you need to perform well. I think it's more disciplinary than motivation, because even if you have motivation, sometimes you're just like, nah, but really it's all about discipline in this case.
Yeah, I think another thing is with the IB especially, I think it's really good. This is something that I really enjoyed in year one. They give you a lot of room to like explore, especially with CAS. You have a lot of like time, or they give you the time to like explore different avenues for like your creativity, your activity, your service. So I think it's really helpful in the sense that you get to explore your interests. But this is also something that if you're not really interested in doing that stuff and you just want to do academics, may be like an extra burden. So that's something you want to consider if you're deciding to take the IB or not. And this is especially important with your EE, because your EE is 4,000 words long, and that might be the longest essay you've ever written in like your high school years. So it genuinely has to be something that you're interested in and you can write about for 4,000 words.
Yeah. And also, don't forget, it is 6 subjects that you have to take, and I have 17 exams for my exams this year. So it's not like you have to make sure you actually enjoy all these classes. Otherwise, you're going to be like, I don't want to study, which is fair enough. But like, make sure you take classes that you'll actually study for and that you're genuinely interested in. Because like, even though you'll end up losing interest, but you'll still have a little bit of like a kick to it, you know? Unless
you'll genuinely like have more fun with the IB if you take classes that you genuinely enjoy and you're doing things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Because it's a long process. It's a really long haul, the IB. So you have to like be constantly doing things that you enjoy. Even if you're not enjoying it at the moment, like you will.
Yeah. I also really cannot stress enough, because I did not take junior year into consideration. I was like, I'll just do everything in senior year. I'll just do really good for my IB exams. No. Take junior year into consideration, guys. Like, seriously, I think it's the most important year because you're learning everything for the first time. After you learn, go home and review what you just learned so it sticks into your brain. Don't do what I did and just junior year. Like, literally stress a lot in junior year so that in senior year you're
more
okay,
chill.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to note like what the IB is looking for in a student. If you guys like are taking the IB, or if like you're interested, you've like done some research, you already know about the IB learner profile. You need to be an inquirer, a thinker. You need to be open-minded and stuff like that. I think when you're an IB student and you hear it, it's kind of like you hear it so much, you're just kind of like, that's so dumb. I don't need to know about that stuff anymore. But I think it's genuinely true. I think if you want to take the IB diploma, if you're considering it, you need to think about like your characteristics and if you fit what they're looking for, which is someone that's curious, someone that's disciplined, and you really need to like love to learn.
Yeah, you need to love to learn, like, because it never ends. Like, the learning process is never ending.
Especially with classes like TOK, those are classes that are like required by the IB. Maybe you don't want to take it, but I think as an IB student, that's something that you need to think about before you decide to take it. Because for classes like TOK, you genuinely want to understand the way that things work, why we consider things knowledge and stuff like that. I think it's really interesting, but that is something that you have to consider when you're deciding to take the IB diploma, because maybe that's not something that you're totally interested in, and there are other classes or better like academic programs that
like
you would better fit, like A-levels, AP, or just like standard.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about what you actually do in the IB, what the IB really entails, so you can decide if you really want to take it or not.
Okay, so the first thing that you do is TOK. TOK, you do an exhibition and you do a essay. that's based off a question that you get to choose, but they give you 6, so it's a very limited choice. And for your exhibition, you get like 20 questions that you get to choose from, and it's like the same 20 questions from each year.
Another extra component of the IB is the EE, which is your extended essay. You can choose from any of the courses that you are taking. So, for example, me and Vanya both wrote our extended essay on psychology. The EE is a 4,000 word essay. You basically make your own question, your research question, and you have to do your own research for it. I'm not sure what the other EEs are like, but from like our experience taking the psychology EE, a lot of people think that for the psychology EE you have to like do your own experiment. That's not true. Basically, you just like do a lot of research and you like analyze your research and answer your research question.
Yeah. And so for the EE, you get like a free of choice for what topic you want to do, so it's like completely up to you.
Another thing that we mentioned before that I really think is important and I want to emphasize on is you need to choose like a topic that you really are interested in for the EE, and something that also has like enough information for you to write 4,000 words on, because I made the mistake of choosing like a really niche research question for my first draft of the EE, and it was really hard to collect information and actually write it. So I ended up submitting it a little bit late, but
a little bit
late, but I did it, and in the end I was really happy with my EE.
Okay, and then for CAS, I think it's like different at each school, because last year they had to do like 50 hours, but now we just have to have like 2 experiences in activity, creativity, and service, and a CAS project.
Yeah,
This is our CAS project.
At our school, I think it might be different for like other schools, but for IB students we have to have like 6. What is it? We need to have 3 of each.
6. 3 or 2 of each. I'm
3
not
of
sure.
each for our CAS experiences. So we needed 3 creativity, 3 activity, and 3 service, if I'm not wrong. But
I think it's 2. It's
okay.
2. It's 2.
But for other schools it might be different, because you might need to do like hours, but our school doesn't do hours anymore.
Yeah. Okay, then you have to have like 5 core subjects. You have to take a science, a social study, a math, an English. You have to take English and a modern language. And then I think like for the 6th one, you can choose to either do double science or double social studies.
Or you can do like a creative arts.
Yeah, or you can do a creative arts, and that's basically it. Then for math, you have like 4 different types of math. So the easiest one is math SL AI, application interpretations, and then the second easiest one is SL AA, which is analysis and approaches, and then it's HLAI and HLAA. Those are like the
those
order.
are typically the order that they're in, but everyone is different, and it might be different like according to your level of math.
Yeah.
Like so.
Do whatever you want to
Do as you please.
Nicole dropped all of her stuff on the ground.
Okay, so for the final extra component of the IB that we think is really important to mention is the CAS project, which is what this is. We are doing our CAS project right now. But the CAS project is basically...
Dude, just do your CAS project. Do everything in grade 11.
Yeah, don't do what we did,
what we did,
please.
please.
But basically the CAS project is what it is. That's a project for your CAS. And you can choose between creativity, activity, and service. You can also double up on them, so you can be like a creativity and an activity, creativity and a service. Maybe you got all 3, but also make it something that you're interested in. Oh, and it's also collaborative, so you need to work with other people, and it needs to be longitudinal.
Wait, is this?
Bye, my little IB minion. Okay, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope this helped you decide on whether or not you want to take the IB, and I hope this was effective.
Yeah, and obviously don't take our word for everything. You should do your own research, see if the IB is right for you. Also talk to your teachers, talk to people who have done the IB before, learn their perspective, and make sure you really do your own research, because the IB is definitely not for people who aren't genuinely interested in taking the IB, because it is a lot of work. But it is also very rewarding, and I don't really regret taking the IB.
Yeah, me neither. Short-term sacrifices for long-term gain.
Exactly.
Thank you. Bye.